Hi, David here with High Point Performance with your Power in Parenting tip. You know, for years I had almost daily struggles with my son Travis, either over his oppositional defiance, his destruction of property, running away in the middle of the night, or just plain worry in trying to figure out how to reach him when I knew that he was severely depressed. During all that time, I just figured, well, this is just my life and my struggles, and there's nothing that I could really do about it. This is because I placed the entire blame of the situation on what Travis was doing and not on what I could personally do to change the situation. It wasn't until key people in my life pointed out to me that there were some things that I really could do and some personal improvements that I could make that nothing, absolutely nothing, changed. But when I began my journey of self-discovery and personal improvement, it made all the difference in the world. I know just what you're thinking. You're thinking, but David, that kind of change is hard. Yes, it is hard. Some of the changes that I had to make in myself were hard and required some real work on my part. But I realized that by not making those changes and staying in the situation, it was so much harder. I chose the better hard, and it made all the difference. Through this experience, I came to a clear realization that we can and do hard things, especially when we realize that by not doing those hard things, we're actually choosing a harder road. One life coach, Jody Moore, put it this way: disciplining your children is hard, but raising kids who have not been disciplined is hard too. Planning dinners regularly is hard, but trying to do those dinners with no plan is even harder. Being around people who don't behave how we think they should is hard, but having to carry around those feelings of contempt towards someone else is no picnic either. Saving money? Hard. Running out of money? Even harder. Saying no to sugar? So very hard. Struggling with diabetes? A lifetime of very hard. The small choices that we make every day are determining the results that we will get in our lives. It's no secret that life can be hard. The good news is you can choose your hard. Choose wisely, and remember that you can do hard things. You know, when you have that thought, this is hard, it really comes easy because, to be honest, we're pretty practiced at it, aren't we? But it doesn't create the results that you want in your life. And this is because you feel bad, and it makes you not move forward towards the goals that you're working on. To overcome this, we need to take that thought, this is hard, and replace it with, I really can figure this out. Maybe I don't know everything just yet, but I am capable of figuring this out. I know a lot of other people have done this, so I know it is doable. We can also say, I can do hard things. I'm capable, and it's okay to be uncomfortable for a little while. These thoughts will help us to move forward and to feel better, to drive us to take the action to at least try. However, when we move forward towards that possibility, our mind can still be fixated on that thought that it is still hard. Your mind will continue to look for evidence of the hard, and this can be a real distraction. As soon as you come up against a roadblock, your mind is going to come back and say, see, I told you, I knew this was going to be hard. Those thoughts and searching for the evidence of the hard can be very distracting and will create conflict in your mind of whether or not it is hard. Is it even doable? Is it worth figuring out? Or will it take too much in time and energy? Or do I even care? Rather than waste all of that brain power, it might be easier just to say, yes, it is hard. So in order to accept that this is hard and still move forward and feel okay about it, let me introduce you to a new theory of hard, harder, and hardest. Let me give you a quick example. Learning to implement behavioral modification tools for your child who's struggling with motivational issues is hard. Staying with the same parenting tools and techniques that you've always known and always used is harder. Giving up and letting your child do whatever they want to do is hardest. You may have to take action that will lead you to these new tools, and it may not feel great for at least a little while, but it's a much better alternative. Getting what you want and need internally and building confidence in your abilities as a parent will help you to evolve to a new level of relationship for both you and your child. The thrill of accomplishment needs to be founded on the success of the progress that you're experiencing. First, by improving yourself, and second, by improving your relationships with both your child and with others. You first need to decide, what do I really want and need? Can I be uncomfortable for a while? Can I be vulnerable? Can I connect with myself internally and with my higher power? All of these things can be classified as hard. What is harder, though, is just trying to white knuckle through it all. That's harder because that is never going to end. As you progress in doing this hard, harder, and hardest theory, it'll help you to make wiser choices as you get better at it. But you must do the thought work that goes with it. When you're white knuckling it through, you also tend to have a lot of guilt because you know the things that you should be doing better, but you're not. And you're going in circles, wanting to do all the things that you know you should. I know that for me, every time someone looked at me and my son or reacted to some behavior of his, I would think, they must think that I'm the worst dad in the world. I'm sure they're thinking, why can't you just handle your son? And why can't you get him to behave? You know, the sad thing is that even though this wasn't really working for me, I stayed that way for many, many years until I finally decided that I was willing to work on myself. And I can tell you from personal experience that to struggle with these issues day in and day out is much harder than working on yourself. Why? Because it never ends. The hardest way in this example is just to give up and decide that there's nothing that you can do for either you or your child, or that you just don't want to do the work. You know, the reality is that the results of your child's behavior has much less to do with their behavioral idiosyncrasies and much more to do with your attitude and the approach that you bring to that relationship by whether or not you have done the work on your own mind. To change, you must change the way you think and your belief system about how you parent your child and how you're going to help them to learn what is necessary in order to be successful. You don't just necessarily have to know how to do that up front. You just have to believe that you can. And with that belief, the skills and the tools will come as you learn from those who've been there. This is going to require a lot of action, a lot of skill and work, but it is possible. When you struggle, that is when you can get help from a coach, like either myself or my son Travis, to help you to change your beliefs and your thinking until it is something that you want to adapt and master in your life. At that point, your changed thinking becomes a belief that you truly have and not just something that you're pretending to have. Yes, this is hard, but it isn't harder or hardest. It's just hard. This kind of hard is the hard that really feels good. I mean, think about it. When you exercise and you're lifting weights, yeah, you're sore the next day, right? But it's a good kind of sore, because that soreness means that you're building your muscles and you're getting stronger. On the other hand, if you get in a car accident, the soreness that comes from that isn't a good kind of sore at all. Do you see the difference? What this also does is it puts you back in the driver's seat. The truth is that we are always in control, but sometimes we give that control to someone else. Sometimes it's good to choose hard, especially when we realize that it is our choice. Just remember this: I can affect my life. I get to choose. And I can have any result that I want in the long run, as long as I am willing to choose the path that is going to get me there. This is just one of the tools that will help both you and your child to behave better and to do better. In our Power in Parenting program, we go into much greater detail to teach you many more tools and techniques to make you successful. Just remember, the next step towards your journey of peace, joy, and motivation is right in front of you. And we're here to support you on that journey every step of the way.